Hey y'all! Well, I'm going to copy another YouTuber's video title, and it was The Illusion of a Bargain. And I'll link his video below, and he was writing it from the point of view of a audio gear retailer that sells like regular turntables and all this other, audio gear. And my opinion may be a little different on one or two points of his, but I do think he had a great point that there's a lot of audio gear out there that is just an illusion of a bargain. And to me, a bargain is a piece of gear or or anything that you buy that you enjoy and lasts a long time. And even if you have to pay a little more in the front end, over time, the little bit you pay extra, or even the lot extra you pay for it on the front end, when you amortize it over its life, ends up being almost nothing. And I'll do a story about something that's totally unrelated to audio gear. It was when I bought my 2012 Honda Civic. And I'd seen the little Civic Coupe, and I thought it was a cool looking little car for a little economy car. And I know Hondas are very good, reliable vehicles, and never bought a new car before. It's like, you know what? I'm going to buy one of these. And I did a little research, and the retail was like $18,500. And dealers all around metro area were advertising them for like $16,500, a couple of thousand off MSRP. And so I went to the first dealer, and they had a gray one. And I'm very picky about the color of the car. I love cars, and I enjoy my cars. And I wanted what was called Dyno Blue. And it needed to be a stick shift, and I knew the trim level that I wanted, which was kind of the base trim level. I didn't want a sunroof. I didn't want all the fancy bells and whistles, because I know sunroofs just end up leaking, and I would never use it. I'm not a person that likes an open sunroof, and so I'd have this thing in my car that's sitting up there with a seal and gutters and stuff that are going to end up causing problems. And it was like $5,000 more the car was. And so it's like, I'm not interested in like the EX trim. I want the LX, and it needs to be a stick shift, and it needs to be Dyno Blue. So he had a dark gray one. And, I went out, test drove it, did everything that I thought, and it was like, yeah, I'm really looking for a blue one. And the salesman tries to tell me that they didn't make blue ones with a stick shift. They only made gray and white. And I'm thinking, that sounds like BS. So anyway, we start bargaining, and I tell him, this isn't really the color I want. It's going to have to be a very, very discounted price for me to even consider it. And of course, the price they had online wasn't what it was actually selling for. And I kept asking the question, because I was just going to pay cash for it or write a check for it. Or, if I need to get a cashier's check or whatever, it's like, how much do I have to pay you to go out the door? And it was like $17,500. It's like, that's $1,000 more. Oh, well, it's got, $300 worth of pinstripes. And so, it's like, no, I'm not, we're not doing that. So anyway, went to another dealer. They had a white one. Same deal. I was just like, I'm not crazy about a white car. If you can do it out the door for like $16,000, maybe I'd consider it. Because, I was actually thinking, maybe I could get it repainted in some cool color for $2,000 or $3,000, being a new car and not needing any body work, and get what I want after all. And of course, he was just like, no, it's, we can only discount it about this much. And, I told him that, hey, you find me a blue stick LX and I'll pay MSRP. So he's like, you'll pay $18,500 for a blue stick. And I'm like, yeah. He said, let's go inside. Let me find you one. And he found me one on the other side of the state. They went and got it. I paid full MSRP. 13 years later, I still love that car. And one of the reasons I love it is that I paid that extra $1,500 to get the color I wanted. And so, that's an example to me of a bargain, even though it was more money, because I got something that I enjoyed long term. And audio gear needs to be the same way. You should be buying stuff that you're not planning on replacing, because if you're buying something for a short-term fill-in for what you really want, you should be buying what you really want and just buy it once. And on that, I agree with this other guy. Now, he was saying that, any product that's made, mail order only, is, not a good deal and all that kind of stuff. And, they don't have years behind them. And, hey, there is something to be said about buying audio gear from a company that's been around for 15 or 20 years. And I'm sure that's why companies like Deckware have a 3-year waiting list. That guy's been building amplifiers for decades, and the other folks like him. But, I mean, this is me saying this. I don't think that means that I'm ripping people off because I haven't been in business for 20 years. And, I do give a nice warranty with my products. And I tell people you basically got a lifetime, which means as long as I'm still alive, repair. You just pay for the parts after a year. Before a year, I'll eat the parts. And so, I don't know how much more generous I can be, because I know my products. I know I'm not going to be repairing these things because they're so simple, they're not going to break. And none of them have. I've never had the first person call me up and say, hey, your amp has a problem, or, this is going on, and having to have it shipped back to me. I've had one person that had a rectifier tube die, and one person had an output tube die, which is totally outside of my control. Just mail them a tube, and it's like, even though the tubes aren't supposed to be warranted past 90 days, I'll eat a tube or two here and there, to keep the customer happy. So, anyway, just thought that was an interesting concept of this whole illusion of a bargain. And, if you're buying some amplifier that you can't get parts for, like it's made with printed circuit boards, where if it red plates a tube and takes out the tube socket and it takes out the printed circuit board, you can't get that printed circuit board, that amp's going in the dumpster. And like with this amp, if it was fixed bias where the tube could red plate, or let's say something weird happens and the tube red plates and it wipes out the tube socket, you just put another tube socket in it. And these are just generic, you can get them anywhere, tube sockets. Everything inside it's wired point to point. You can buy the little tag strips. I mean, they're, these little things. You can buy these little tag strips anywhere if one of them falls apart. I mean, there's nothing proprietary in any of my things. These transformers, the specs are left on the bottom of the transformer. Well, a lot of people don't know that. If one of these transformers dies 10 years from now, somebody unbolts the transformer, the sticker's on the bottom of the transformer that tells all the voltages and stuff, and you just get another one. The same thing with the choke, the output transformers. I mean, the stickers come on the top, and I peel them off and glue them back on the bottom, so there's a record of what this part is if you need to replace it. And so that's the kind of thing you really need to be paying attention of. And it's why I tell people don't buy those 845 tube China amps. They're full of printed circuit boards that are all proprietary. And if anything ever happens to that amp, first of all, you don't even know, you can't even trace what's going on because it's all on printed circuit boards, and you can't get parts for it. So it's junk if it needs to be repaired. So anyway, I think that's going to kind of be it for this video. Like I said, I'll link his video below. I think it was really good. Give him a sub. Maybe even in the comments say Skunky sent me, just so he knows where you came from. And, he's got an interesting channel. I've watched a few of his videos. I think y'all will like his content. And so, yeah, that's kind of it for this one. Thanks all you folks that are regular viewers, subscribers. We're over 21K subs. Yay! And hopefully the channel will continue to grow. If you enjoyed this content, please subscribe to the channel. Please like the video. Again, thanks to all you Patreon supporters and other folks that support the channel. Till the next video, have a nice day.
soon.